has...
You didn't know?
You can say we are the in crowd.
We got 2 words for you!
Acknowledge us.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Stadium Red proudly presents to you the most electrifying wrestling show in the world. And we are the sexiest, the most delightful hosts in the wrestling podcast scene. I'm the Big Show, Shake and Bake. That's the Professor. Nicholas Mullick. Down below is the Nard Dog, Bernard Green. And one of our newest members, but certainly keeping up with the Joneses, King Will, doing it Big Willie style. We got a lot to talk about, gentlemen. Raw debuted on Netflix for the very first time, the biggest platform in professional wrestling history. It outviewed, fun little fact for you, it's already become one of the most watched things on Netflix already. Huge numbers for Netflix. We'll talk plenty about that. Roman Reigns is still him. Becky Lynch has a little bit of contract news. You're going to have to tune in to find out if it's good or bad. Brian Pillman and Ultimate Warrior, maybe a little story time from the Professor getting mixed in there. Rhea Ripley gets a huge moment that was well-deserved. And I saw some things on the internet that I will definitely rant about. That I'm not happy about. New Year's Evil BG and King Will be the leads on that one. Excellent show. I did catch a good amount of it. And Mr. Hulk Hogan, Mr. Front and Center of our thumbnail this evening, he didn't have a good time on Monday, as most people in the arena did, because the show was awesome. But before we get to any of it, what's more important than the wrestling is each and every single one of you 3 gentlemen here right now. How are you?
Tired. Yeah.
Tired. Okay. Yeah.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I do want to start off with some news that just broke here. The Von Erich boys, Ross and Marshall, have signed a new deal with AEW. They are officially signed, and that they need a tag team. AEW. They're desperately in need of a tag team, and the Von Erichs have been there on and off. I'm glad they're signed full time there now. I hope that Kevin Von Erich will, be a part of them too, because
Tony Khan will want that really bad.
Absolutely. I like the signing a lot. I just want to break that right now. Congratulations to the Von Erich boys.
Awesome.
Can't wait to see what they do here, but yeah, that's awesome.
Will, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I want to start off by saying our thoughts go out to everybody out in LA going through all that crazy wildfire and stuff going on right now. I'm also happy to see the Von Erich join AEW, as AEW's tag team division is just dry and boring. It might be the worst in the industry right now.
I disagree.
Monday Night Raw is pretty bad.
I disagree. I think TNA's tag division's pretty bad. I don't even think WWE's tag division's that great either. But none of the tag teams are that great. But... I mean, maybe,
you at least have DIY and Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah, but
if they want to do something with Pretty Deadly, you have them. But on Monday Night Raw, you literally have nobody.
Yeah, but let's be real. I love the Motor City Machine Guns, but they've done nothing since losing those tag belts. They have done nothing, and they seem to be going nowhere.
2 weeks ago.
Exactly. They're going nowhere. I don't know where they're going there, but I kind of like what the Von Erich boys going to AEW. It's like a boost there, because let's be real, the Acclaimed are terrible now. I love Max Caster and Anthony Bowens. They need to break up ASAP, because what I loved what they did in the peak of AEW, but what they're doing now is dry and boring, and I'm like, they're getting stale, and it's time for Bowens to cut the fat of Max Caster, because I see more potential in Bowens than Caster. And plus, Bowens doesn't put his foot in his mouth like Caster has the past few years.
Well,
I would argue
just stay off the phone.
I would argue the best thing going in AEW right now, I guess they're kind of a tag team, not really a tag team because it's 4 of them. But I love the Death Riders. I can't wait to see what's next.
I think the best thing tag team wise in AEW is the Highlander. What's their name? Shoot.
Not the Highlanders from the
not the Highlanders.
Ruthless Aggression era.
They made up with the Rock and Roll Express. What's the tag team? It'll come to my mind, but I like what.
Are you talking about Private Party?
No, not Private Party. They're the ones that made up with the Rock and Roll Express. Remember, the Rock and Roll Express got kidnapped by I think it was the Death Riders, and FTR came in, and the other tag team made
FTR?
up. No, not well. They're one of them, but I'm gonna look them up. They're great. 1 second, fellas.
All right, we can come back to that, and let's get into a little bit of a section of the show that's going to be a little King Will and BG centric. Of course, Professor and I will have our takes. So, we're not dummies. We pay attention. We know what's going on here. But listen, I want to give it to the gentlemen that are locked into this type of thing. New Year's Evil NXT, pretty damn good show. It was a banger. Sure. We can go. It's not. Let's try to. Get through this rather quickly. We do have a decent amount to get through. Raw is going to take up a decent amount of time, but something we called. I think all three of us, Will being the newer addition. We're talking about Julia being the one to dethrone Roxanne Perez after an absolutely phenomenal year. It happened on New Year's Evil. BG, kick it off. How'd you feel, man?
Yes, I feel wonderful. Which I believe that's the right woman to take the title off of Roxanne Perez. It's almost like it gives me that Oscar Bailey feeling. And King, I think you could agree with me. Like, when Bailey had held NXT down, and then that's when Oscar came in not too long ago, and then that's when she, dethroned Bailey for the NXT Women's Championship. I got that same feeling this past Tuesday night with Julia and Roxanne Perez. I tweeted this after the match. I tweeted congratulations to Julia to becoming the new champion, and I also tweeted to Roxanne Perez directly. I add her and tell her, thank you for a phenomenal run. You killed it. You truly held it down for the NXT Women's Division. And I see why people call you the Prodigy. And also, too, just not long ago, PWI, I did I think I wrestled in the end of the year. And I've been saying this for weeks, gentlemen, that the woman superstar of the year all around is Roxanne Perez. And they got it right. Like I said, thank you, Roxanne. I'm looking forward to you to come to the main roster. I want you to kill it there. Hey, she might end up coming in at the Royal Rumble this year. Who knows? But phenomenal match. And Julia, I think Julia would be next in line to hold the fork down as much as her. Maybe a little better, but we'll see. What about you, King Will?
I don't pop a whole lot. And, I've watched a lot of wrestling, but it's very rare that I quote unquote pop. But I remember as soon as that match was over, I texted you and the Professor, and I said she did it. I was super excited to see Julia do it. Roxanne Perez is great, but she had the belt way too long, and it's time for her to move up and hopefully feud against. What is the group EOS guys a part of?
Damage Control.
I want to see a feud Damage.
Wow.
Yeah, by the way, I found out the tag team name. It's the Outrunners for AEW. I can't believe I botched that name. Going back to NXT. Yeah, not only was Roxanne Perez great, I think she's the future. They really got something in her. Her call-up's coming because she dropped the belt to Julia. It was about time. Julia deserves it. She's going to have a nice lengthy run. Roxanne, she was originally going to get called up last year until Cora Jade tore her ACL. And now that she's dropped the belt, I think her on the main roster is great. Going to be happening soon. I could see her debuting at the Royal Rumble, as an NXT entrant. But maybe they'll wait until after WrestleMania to debut her, but man, that was awesome. And I'm glad Julia won the title. She is phenomenal. Really, really phenomenal. And I think if there's going to be a person that takes that belt off of her, it really should be it really should be a special thing. And I think they should have her hold that belt like an Asuka title reign, where she holds that thing for like a year.
No, I meant to ask you that. Do you think, well, all four, I asked all three of you, do you think, because I asked a fan about this too, and asked, do you think that she might possibly, or has the potential to pass Oscar as the longest reigning NXT champion? Because Oscar had a title for 523 days, and that she beat everybody in that division to a point where WWE just said, "All right, I don't see enough for her for 2 years. She had to retire the title. She had to retire the title on a special episode of NXT." So, do y'all think that she has the capability of passing that record?
Absolutely. I mean, everyone has the capacity to do it. I do wonder though, if she's going to drop that belt, I want Stephanie Vicaire to take it off of her. She, I think, would be the best one up. But
Well,
God, you could argue Jordan Grace whenever she's going to join WWE, even though I think she's going to go on the main roster and be the one that attacked Jade Cargill. But I could see Julia going to that length. I think a year would be best, but man, it's so hard with how great that division is.
I mean, let's not put the wagon in front of the horse here. The next match we're talking about was the Fatal 4-Way #1 contenders match. Stephanie Vicaire won that. So, I don't know. Maybe she loses now and you have her come back later. But, I mean, that was a big match. But going back to Roxanne, I mean, of course she was going to lose it. It was time. There was nothing left for her to do in NXT. Maybe she has that rematch against
Julia.
Thank you, Julia. And obviously
Okay.
she doesn't win. And then she goes up to the main roster. I think they're going to give her a chance, maybe a couple more weeks, just to have like closure in NXT and then go up. And it's going to be a big moment for her. But yeah, congrats to Julia. We talked about it for seemingly months, ever since Julia debuted, that we thought she should have been the one to take the belt off Roxanne, and she did. So congratulations to her. I did kind of spoil into the next match. Stephanie Vicaire did win the Fatal 4-Way #1 contenders match against Cora Jade, Lola Vice, and Kalani Jordan. BG, take it off, kid.
Yes, sir. So again, another phenomenal match. And what's so funny?
He told you.
But I ain't worried about that, man. But anyway, like I said, again, phenomenal match. I thought Lolo Vice was going to get it, but hey, I'm not mad. Hey, Stephanie Vicaire. I think that'd be a wonderful challenge for Fallon Henley. Like I said, both like all four of them, like they killed it. I kind of worry about Kalani. Can she possibly be turning on to the heel side? Maybe, who knows? But I think like I said, all four women killed it. It's to be a good step up for Fallon Henley, and I might predicting maybe an upset. Um, um, Brewing soon, and also congratulations to Stephanie Vicaire, and take it away, King Will.
I'm super excited Stephanie won. I think she's the prettiest girl in all of professional wrestling. Also, I really like her character, the Dark Angel. However, I think she's going to take the belt off Julia before we get to WrestleMania.
Oh,
I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to have Julia have a more lengthy reign. But I do think if they want to take the belt off her around SummerSlam-ish time, would be the best way to do it. But I think Stephanie Vicaire will eventually take that belt off of her. I would have went with Cora Jade to win it. I mean, to toss her a bone after, her being out with the injury, and she was on the peak, and I think she would have it would be a great win for her. But I'm fine with Stephanie Vicaire winning. She was my second choice, so good for her. Good for everyone in this match. Yeah, I enjoyed New Year's Evil, especially this Fatal 4-Way match. I thought it's arguably the best match of the night if you ignore that Oba Femi match. My goodness, that was a match.
And we will definitely get to that next on the docket. However, Shotzi, Gigi Dolan, and Tatum Paxley beat down and took down Fatal Influence, which I think was a clean sweep across the board when we predicted this match.
Yeah.
The way Shotzi came back, it was kind of inevitable that they were going to win. I don't have too much to say on it, so Bernard, just take it, kid.
Yes, sir. So, again, like phenomenal match by the women. Um, Shotzi Tatum, and what's the other one name? What's the other girl? Either way, all three of them kill
Gigi
it.
Dolan.
And Gigi Dolan. I believe. I'm not too fond of Fatal Influence. I mean, I like what they're doing, but I kind of feeling there's some type of maybe something boiling going on. I just feel like they're not legit gelled in as a good like heel women type faction. Um, I think it's gonna be a matter of time before with Fallon Henley and her title reign, it's gonna be more of the of the vocal point of her title reign more so than the group itself, and it's gonna be a matter of time for their breakdown. That's just my opinion.
Here's the problem with that match. I'm sorry, Will. I'll go. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but here's my problem with the match. I thought it was okay, but it was too predictable. You can't have Shotzi lose her first match back. That's just, if that happens, just put her on the future endeavor list. So she had to win. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But besides that, I thought it was a decent match. Predictable, but did its job.
It was predictable. I don't know if I like Fatal Influence, though. It's kind of like the writers went, you're cute, you're cute, you're cute. You don't get along. You don't really know each other. But you're a group now, so figure it out. The group dynamic
That's
just
true.
don't work.
Sort of like what they did with the what's the Scooby-Doo group? The
Pure Fusion
Link-
Collective.
Yeah, that group. Yeah. Screw that name. The Pure Fusion Collection group. It's like, hey, you're doing nothing. Hey, you're doing nothing. Hey, you're doing nothing. Let's group you together since you guys all have nothing to do.
Go do nothing together. Congratulations. It was fun. A good show all around. Lexis King did defeat Charlie Dempsey and now is the owner of the NXT Heritage Cup, which is kind of a nice little fun thing they do on the side every now and again, and it does mean something to some of these superstars. It's a cool trophy to be able to walk around with every once in a while, carry it all the time. But it was cool, fun match. You know what? I'm switching it up. Will, take it off.
I'm not a huge fan of the Heritage Cup. I'm just not. Also, we skipped a huge moment on NXT that happened right before that match, or a potentially huge moment when Ethan Page, Ethan Page, I believe, was mouthing off to Ava, and The Rock walked in and said, "If you want us to be cool, you got to be cool with her." I'm wondering if they're setting up some kind of storyline between The Rock and him, or if that was just a one-off.
That was just a one-off. There's no way they're going to have The Rock waste his time with Ethan Page. And I love you, Ethan Page. If you're watching this right now, you're a good dude. But that was just a one-off. I mean, The Rock's going to be involved in probably Cody and Roman at WrestleMania. Or I don't know. I don't know what they did with him at the Raw Netflix show. It was so weird with that weird 30-minute thing with him opening the show. But I guarantee you that's a one-off. I guarantee you, because I don't see Rock going back weekly on NXT. I just don't see it.
And just a one-off.
You kind of hinted at it earlier there, Professor. NXT Championship match. A banger indeed it was. Triple threat match. Obafemi versus Trick Williams versus Eddie Thorpe. NXT Championship on the line. And oh boy, did that bad man dominate. Obafemi is your new NXT champion.
Didn't I predict this? Didn't I predict this was going to happen? Tell them that it needed to happen. They did exactly what they did with Gunther when he held the NXT UK Championship. He went on and won the Intercontinental Championship. Now he's the World Heavyweight Championship. Good job, Shawn Michaels in NXT and Ava. You did the right thing. I feel like it's not Obafemi time to come up to the main roster. So I think that's the next best thing. Obafemi is just that damn good. I'm like, oh my goodness. It doesn't make no sense how he's that big, that tall, 300 plus pound man moving like a lightweight in the ring like that, and he just picked his opponent up with ease. And they did the right thing by putting the NXT championship on him. And I think he's going to have like a lengthy title reign as well. I don't see nobody beating him for that title for at least 2 years. My prediction.
I don't know about that because there were rumors that he was going to get called up like soon. I don't know if he'll have a lengthy reign with it. I think he'll have like a few month reign, and then after WrestleMania, he gets called up. But yeah, it was the right choice. Obafemi, they got something in that guy. And if they book him well in the main roster, he's going to be something to fear about. My advice, though, please don't put him with Apollo Crews if you're going to give him the Nigerian gimmick. Pretty please.
No.
He's done with that now. He's very.
Are we sure?
that.
Because Apollo, I don't know why Apollo's still employed, to be honest with you. Like,
well, that wasn't his fault. That's why.
That's
was
true.
do that or get fired. I'm sure. You know how Vince operates.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Apollo likes not being homeless. So, unfortunately, he was put in a bad situation. But someone who is put in a good situation. The man, the GOAT, as she calls herself, Becky Lynch, has signed a new contract with WWE. Wasn't really in question, but I like to tease you at the beginning of the show, make you scared a little bit. Maybe we'll see what happens. But nothing bad happened. Becky's back, baby.
Hey, that's awesome. What's up, dude? How are you?
Our boy.
Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year.
Let me just say this with Becky Lynch. It was not an if, but when she was coming back. It was either this or retirement forever. Because I didn't see her going anywhere else.
Oh, no way, yeah.
Yeah, there's no chance. None whatsoever. If with her return, there are only two potential feuds that make sense for her to start. And I wrote about this on StadiumRant.com when talking about the news. Option 1, and the one I predicted, have her go after Lyra Valkyria when she wins the Intercontinental Championship tournament. That's number 1, because I think it would be perfect. Number 2, and this is something I think is probably more likely. Remember when Liv Morgan kept parading around, "Oh, I retired Becky Lynch"?
Yeah.
Immediately have her feud with that. And because let's be real, Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, that's over. That's done.
Yeah.
Thank
It
God.
really is. But here's the thing. I thought about it after we live reacted to it. Now what? Now what with Liv? Like, they're not going to immediately do Judgment Day and White Six. They should, but the White Six got to finish off with the Bollocks feud with the Final Testament. So have Liv Morgan go and Becky Lynch feud for a little bit. That's what I think would be cool. But I would prefer Lynch and Lyra just to make that title feel more important with the top star coming back wanting that title instead of the World Heavyweight title for the women's. But time will tell. Those are the two acceptable first feuds, in my opinion. What do you guys think? I wanted to bring it up with you guys.
Go King Will.
What if they take both of those feuds and they mix them into one? What if Liv, Becky, and Lyra are all competing for that title? I think that makes that title really big. Also, this goes back to one of the things I think they got wrong on Monday night. Becky was supposed to come back on Monday night, but instead they brought out Hulk Hogan to flat out get booed out
An
of
Undertaker.
the building.
They canceled her return for The Undertaker. And look, I love Mark Calloway. I do. But, like, for the time he was allowed on the show, you didn't need The Undertaker. You didn't. I would rather have Becky. Now this makes me wonder, will Becky Lynch go after Rhea Ripley? Because if that spot was originally Becky Lynch's, but I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, so.
All I'm saying is if you want to make money at WrestleMania, you have Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley for the women's world title. I'm telling you right now. That is going to draw better than any other women's match I could think of.
Damn.
I mean, you could maybe throw in Trish Stratus returning, and if they want to have like another match with Lita, maybe. But
No, that's dead. That's
I
dead.
am not interested in that whatsoever. I'm
well,
telling
they did
you,
rumor Lita's return coming soon a few months ago. Remember that?
hey, listen, that's fine. I love Lita. She can come back. But if she's sniffing around that world title, I'm going to be upset about it. But where are we? We talked about Becky Lynch. Okay. I don't want to get to Raw just yet because that's going to be the coup de grace, if you will.
You and Finn Balor finning a finisher?
Exactly. That's exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be a work of art off of the top rope. But before we get that, we got a quick little story time from the professor. We got Brian Pillman and one Mr. Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, the guy with the fun face paint, shake the ropes, go crazy, that type of
and
guy.
kind of a racist and a homophobe.
Not a great guy.
Not a great guy.
The Ultimate Warrior Award, little tainted now, but thanks Vince, it
it's
is what it is.
always been tainted. Like we've known Ultimate Warrior was not a good guy. I mean, he was kind of rebuilding his reputation, but not a good guy if you look into him. So here we go. Who's ready for story time with the professor, baby? So Brian Pillman, not Brian Pillman Jr., who's Lexus King, Brian Pillman, his father, and the Ultimate Warrior hated each other. And this was something interesting with the Ultimate Warrior in his first time with the WWE. He was cheating on his spouse. I mean, what else is new? I mean, there's plenty of stories of professional wrestlers cheating on their spouses and their girlfriends. Ultimate Warrior cheated on his wife with multiple times. He had like a book of contacts for every city he would go to, and he would call these women up to do a little bit of the horizontal mambo, if you get where I'm going here.
Beast with two backs for Shakespeare fans.
Guess who was one of those women? Melanie Pillman, the future wife of Brian Pillman Sr.
That's rough.
So a few years pass. Brian Pillman and Melanie marry. The Ultimate Warrior keeps calling Melanie, saying, "Oh, why are you with him when you could be with a guy like me with all the muscles and all that?" Brian Pillman found out. He was fire red engine pissed. And he said to Melanie, if I ever get into a locker room with him, I'm going to beat him to a bloody pulp. Luckily, they never shared a locker room because I think when Warrior came into WCW, Pillman went to WWF. And this was before the Humvee wreck happened. And if they did share a locker room, that would have been bad for Ultimate Warrior, because knowing how crazy Brian Pillman is and some of the fight stories I've heard with him at bars, Ultimate Warrior would have gotten his ass kicked, if you know what I mean. But yeah, they did not like each other at all. Yeah, that's my story of why the Ultimate Warrior and Brian Pillman hated each other, because Melanie was with Ultimate Warrior cheating on the first spouse. And the crazy part, too, is when the first spouse found out that the Ultimate Warrior was cheating, guess who answered the phone? Melanie Pillman.
Oops.
Oops. So, yeah, that's my story. What do you guys think?
It's a little rough. I mean, Warrior's not a great guy. I mean, that's not too shocking.
His comment on Bobby Heenan is unforgivable. This was when Bobby Heenan had the throat cancer and he was getting surgery. Like, Ultimate Warrior called him disgusting, and that him dying is a pity. Like, that dude, man. I mean, Ultimate Warrior was great in the ring in the peak in WWF and WWE, but out of the ring, some of the stuff he said is not great.
Yeah. Bernard, what you got, man?
Lexi King. The first thing that I thought in my mind about this was Lexi King. He'd be like, "Man, what the hell's going on, man?" Like, I just found out this crap with my dad and all, but I mean, I don't know, man.
The worst part is if you go watch the Brian Pillman Dark Side of the Ring, when Brian Pillman's father, when his Lexis King's father died, he thought it was a work. He legit thought the cameraman was going to pop out and that Brian Pillman would be back, but he then realized he was gone. And his stepfather, I mean, my God, his stepfather basically tormented him and abused him. And it also didn't help, too, that they did Brian Pillman memorial shows when Brian Pillman died. The money for those shows was going to go to the kids, their education, the expenses. That money, this goes to show how much of an evil woman Melanie is, went right up her nose. Every penny went right up her nose and into a new truck.
Wow.
What a lovely lady.
Wow.
Yeah, certainly a winner there. That's tough scenes. I mean, wrestling world is a dark underbelly.
JC, that's not true. That is not true, dude. There are plenty of Kentucky boys that are so nice. That is not. There's some smart ones. Don't say that, man.
I gotta agree with you, JC. We're not the smartest.
God!
I'm trying to be nice here, man.
They're from there. It's okay. They can say that. It's fine. Monday Night Raw made its debut on Netflix, granting it the largest platform in professional wrestling history. And that is absolutely unbelievable. And here's something I'd like to point out about that. And I'll kind of kick off this little take about Monday Night Raw debuting on Netflix itself. And Matt Cardona tweeted this. He's like, whether you're in WWE or another company, in indie scene, this, that, the other, he's like, this is good for everybody. More people have eyes on professional wrestling than they ever have ever before. And that means there's more likely that people will fall in love with it. And there's more likely that people are going to go to local shows just to be around it and just to see professional wrestling. Not the same level, obviously. You get some diamonds, right? But they want to be there, and that's good for the indie scene. And all of a sudden, random people are buying these T-shirts. It's just good for everybody. This was such a monumental thing, not only for WWE because it was, but professional wrestling as a whole. The fact that this is just now so accessible on a random Monday night, there's going to be a lot of people that instead of watching a same random show that they've watched 3 or 4 times, are going to be like, okay, yeah, I'll turn on Raw, see what happens. You never know. It's just such an amazing thing. And not only did they get the platform, man, did they damn deliver. 9 out of 10, in my opinion. I couldn't complain about most things. Couple of things not too great, but overall, I really enjoyed the show. And before we go down the whole docket, quick out of 10 rankings from the boys. Let's go.
I give it a 9.5.
Hey, you know what? I'll go 8.5.
I'll go 9.5. I thought the presentation was incredible.
It was phenomenal what they did. They really treated it like a WrestleMania. Those were reports we were hearing, and they did ring it true. The Rock kicked off the show, and it was a complaint for some people. I don't know if it was like a complaint for me. Was it necessary? Absolutely not. He came on, he showboated for about 20 minutes or so. Triple H did come on before The Rock. It wasn't a full half hour of The Rock, but it was a lot of him soaking up the scene, doing whatever he wanted. And there's, it's just kind of like, okay, we get it. You're The Rock. That's why you're there, whatever. And it was followed by quite an excellent match. I thought it overperformed. I didn't really, not that I thought it was going to be bad, but it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Tribal combat between Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa for the true tribal chief title. The Ula Fala was going to the winner. Roman Reigns comes out on top. He gets the Ula Fala back. He is our tribal chief. Gentlemen, how'd you feel about the first match?
Never again. I never want to see Solo and Roman in another match again. It was good, but I hate what they did with The Rock, with that waste of time 30-minute promo and him hugging Cody Rhodes and all that. You basically have been following these guys, and even you showed up at I think it was Bad Blood or was it Bad? I can't remember what
Mhm.
show he
Yeah,
showed
Bad
up on.
Blood, yeah.
And he was doing the 1, 2, 3. Like that was random as hell, and nobody questioned that. You have The Rock coming back and giving him a hug and giving him drinks and giving him that. You basically said to him, "Don't break my heart again." And you betrayed us, and you kept whipping him, and you bled him, and all this. And now you're telling me you're all good and sharing a beer? Like what? That makes no sense whatsoever. None. And I'm glad that Roman won, so we can move on to do something else. But then you have The Rock come in and hug Roman and all that. Whatever happened to Bloodline Civil War? Wasn't that supposed to be a thing with The Rock being involved, or is that all canceled now?
No, I think that was finished at War Games.
But then wasn't The Rock supposed to be involved? Like, or is that canceled?
That I don't think that was confirmed. I think that's just a thing we thought would naturally happen.
I don't know. I mean, listen, I think they could have done The Rock stuff better. I mean, The Rock needs to face Roman at Mania, either that or Cody. And I don't understand why, in the booking here, that you would have him be all nice and hunky dory with Cody when he not 6 months ago beat him to a bloody pulp. I don't understand that.
If I could, I also thought that was a bad part of Monday Night Raw.
Thank you.
Just a few months ago, you had a blood feud, and now you're basically acting like he's your lifelong best friend. The only thing else I'll have to say is I'm glad Roman won, and I'm begging tomorrow night for Jacob Fatu to turn on Solo.
I hate you, Solo. I can't wait till he says that, man. That's going to be so great. I love Jacob Fatu. That dude, he's the next big thing. Get that man in a ring with Obafemi. Take my money.
That's a WrestleMania match. I'm not going to lie.
In like 2 to 3 years, that should be a WrestleMania match.
Yeah. Bernard, what do you got, man?
Well, like I said, happy Roman Reigns won. The true tribal chief. I acknowledge you, Roman. So like I said, I never was sold on Solo. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow night on Raw. I mean on SmackDown. But you know, Roman Reigns won. But like I said, The Rock, he just threw me. I think like okay, so he just babyface, like you said, Nicholas. He just come out, give the 1, 2, 3. He give the cutoff sign at Bad Blood, and next thing he hug at Roman, and he's hugging. It's like something like I'm like, huh? So basically,
no sense.
like what the hell? Like
what? Never mind. That doesn't make sense. I was like, what if that was at Solo though, and not? But it doesn't make sense because Solo was out of the ring at that point.
Yeah, Solo was out of the ring. It doesn't
or it could happen tomorrow night at SmackDown. Who knows? They don't tell him what's going to happen. You know?
Did they say that somebody was going to get fired from the Bloodline with Solo's faction?
Well, either get kicked out. Like more like getting kicked out. Yeah, kicked out. Yeah.
You know what I think they need to do? Tama and I don't know if it'll be. I think it will be Tama. I don't know what they're going to do, honestly. But if they kick Jacob Fatu out, which they shouldn't, I don't know what they're
shouldn't they? Shouldn't they though? What if he just was all of a sudden cut loose? Would that suck? No.
I mean,
I would not complain. That would be phenomenal.
I don't know what they're
this animal run wild on SmackDown, just beating the hell out of everybody. Eventually goes after Shinsuke, absolutely murders him, sends him off into the sunset, and is U.S. champion for a little while. That would be fun.
Yeah, but how are you going to take the belt off of Jacob then? Because you got Jacob Fatu has been booked so well.
Don't take the wind out of my sails. I'm having fun.
Hey, but as a salesman, you got to adapt to the situation. You got to adapt to it. You got to change. You got to try to make the customer happy into wanting to continue with the sale.
Listen, the draft will happen and we'll figure it out then. There you go. I just WWE'd the shit out of that. Next up on the docket, John Cena has declared he will enter the 2025 Royal Rumble. Threw a little bit of a curveball to everybody. He's like, I'm not going to win 17 world championships. It's not going to happen. This, that. He's like, well, unless. And then I was like, oh God, John's got something in store. And then Nicholas called it right from the beginning, though. He knew that's probably what the move was. I wasn't even thinking that far ahead as like John Cena as my number one superhero go-to guy. I'm just so in the moment with everything going on. I feel like I'm taking in this retirement tour as if I'm 9 years old watching him for the first time again, because I understand I'm never going to be able to see him perform ever again in the ring. Sure, he'll be around to do stuff, but like this is my last chance, and this is like 9-year-old me coming out. When he said he joined in the Rumble, I was up and down. I was like, let's go, John's winning the Rumble. You know, like I don't even care if he doesn't. Like I am just so in and along for the ride, and to see him enjoy it and embrace the fan, he always has, right? But to really go there and be like, I love you guys, you're along for this ride with me, this last run is for you. I could have just as easily said I'm done, but I'm doing this because I want to say thank you in as many cities as possible, and that's just my go. That's my hero. I love John Cena, man.
Jake, how many times do I have to tell you? We cannot see
John
No, Cena.
Stop it. At the press conference, he said this year you can see me.
No, I can't. All I saw was a background and a microphone. What are you talking about?
That's on you then, brother. Maybe you need to start wearing those glasses all the time now.
You know what? I'll wear them right now. Oh, wait, I still don't see him.
Damn.
I'm just calling John, and he's going to come and hang out for the next podcast. He's going to be hanging out with me right here.
Well, how
you
know?
yeah. Yeah, my thing is,
you're probably gonna, knowing you'll probably buy a soundboard and just play John Cena sounds.
John's here, huh? Bernard, how do you feel about it, man?
I feel about it. It's like, man, when I first started watching wrestling, I saw John Cena was like on SmackDown, a little bit some here and there. Before my mom didn't let me watch wrestling because she thinks that I'm a my sister doing wrestling moves and all that type of shit back in the day. But
oh God,
for somebody, but you know, like I said, I agree with you, Shake Bake. I'm taking it all in. For someone that was that great for that X amount of years, capture 16, now possibly 17 championships. You got to take it in, man. You better take it in, because once this is gone, that's it. There's not gonna be another person that's gonna held 17 championships, unless you're Charlotte Flair or
Randy Orton.
No,
Randy Orton.
No.
I think Randy Orton will eventually get to 17.
Well, I bet $1,000 on that, and that's not going to happen. Done.
Oh.
Yes, yes, we got footage. Yes, yes,
no,
yes,
no,
yes, yes,
no,
yes,
yes. No.
JC,
no,
clip that.
But, JC, don't. But anyway, no, but back to what I'm saying. No, but all seriousness though, for someone that was that great for the X money years, man. Like for anybody that's all John Cena fans and also John Cena fans, still take it in, because once he's gone, you're never gonna see nothing like this ever again. I think after he retired this year, and we need to wait no 5 years or 6 years eligible to be in the Hall of Fame. I said Triple H and WWE put him in the Hall of Fame. I said next year. Put him in next year. Put him in now.
I would say, I mean, Rey Mysterio's in the Hall of Fame and he's still an active performer. I'd put him in now. That's
now if you got Batista and not now. Now if you got Batista and Bray Wyatt coming up.
I don't know if Batista's schedule, like I don't know when that is. And
bingo,
Bray Wyatt's wife is going to be all elite soon because she was doing some work for AEW, and I don't know if they want to touch that, but I don't know. But JC,
Will, what do you think of Cena's comeback?
Dude,
I love how they presented it. Although I want to make a counterpoint. 16 is legendary. It is the gold standard. I don't think anybody should ever be allowed to break 16. Ty Ric Flair, sure. Break the record. I don't think it should ever be done.
Including Charlotte Flair.
Technically, Ric Flair's numbers of championship title reigns was in the 20s, but WWE doesn't count certain number of those. I don't know why. Charlotte's eventually going to tie that record too, because she's going to cash in her Charlotte in the Bank briefcase just to get, as many reigns as she has. I'm sorry. I'm going to go back to what I said with Cena. I like what he did. It was obvious he was going to declare for the Rumble. I think he's the favorite to win the Royal Rumble because I cannot think of another person. You could maybe argue Seth Rollins, maybe, but I think John Cena's the favorite here.
Yeah, I agree with that. Plenty of time to discuss. We are just beginning the road to WrestleMania. We can have plenty of predictions and conspiracy theories and crackpot tinfoil thoughts, but we'll just continue.
You and Brian Kendrick in the middle of them. You and Brian Kendrick in the middle of a of a recording.
Yeah, or me when I forget to hit live. Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan for the Women's World Championship. Let's just, if you're religious, say a prayer. If not, thank yourself, thank the universe. Rhea Ripley beat Liv Morgan in the only complaint I have. The match was fine. The only issue was the fact that it was no longer a last woman standing match.
That was a big...
And I said this on the show live. Stop doing that to the women. Stop doing that. If you don't want to give them that spot, fine. Not fine, but that's one thing I should say, right? But if you announce and you have Rhea Ripley, who is clearly the biggest draw in your company right now as far as females, come out and say it is a last woman standing match. Oh, they're coming to get the professor. Oh, it's back. A last woman standing match.
That was weird. I was like, did the power go out?
I thought they were coming to get you.
No, the Undertaker was probably back there for my comments earlier about complaining about his return at Raw and Netflix,
which we're arriving at here shortly. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, that is unbelievable. You cannot do that. Downgrade that without any type of reason, without Liv going on social media and saying, I refuse to do this, blah, 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 whatever. Coming up with her own heel BS as to why she won't compete in a last woman standing. I would have been more okay with that than it's a one-on-one match now, guys. And that should have been awesome. We should have get an absolute Rhea face stomping. And she did beat up Liv, don't get me wrong. But that should have been one of the high spots of that entire show. And it was downgraded with nothing behind it whatsoever. And this is the Bianca Belair stuff again. You have two major stars. I don't care that they're not male. They draw, goddammit, and you need to be able to give them opportunities. You don't want to give them the same time because you think X people are more draw? Fine. Don't take away the damn opportunity. You want to shorten the match? Okay. Let them ball for 15 instead of 30 minutes. I get last woman standing in 15 isn't great, but you know what? Who would have believed Liv Morgan would have lasted longer than 15 minutes against Rhea Ripley in a last woman standing match? And nobody would have believed that. Everybody would have been fine with it. But everybody's upset. And you try to make everybody happy with The Undertaker. And people saw right damn through that. And nobody was happy. And then people want to go online and talk about, Rhea Ripley sucks. It was all Liv Morgan's year. Hello! Liv Morgan's year does not happen if it's not for Rhea Ripley. If Liv Morgan didn't try to steal Dominic Mysterio from Rhea Ripley, none of this would have freaking mattered at all. So don't tell me Liv Morgan this, that, the other. She did great in the role she was given. Don't get me wrong. But if it not for Rhea Ripley, the damn MVP of the women's division, and maybe the best female wrestler in the world, don't give me anything she can't wrestle because she can. She just doesn't want to hurt the people she's in the ring with because they're a lot smaller than she is. Rhea Ripley was disrespected. Bianca Belair has been disrespected for months, and it's ridiculous. And people want to talk about Triple H and praise him up and down, left, right, center. And I agree with you. His obvious blind spot is the women's division. We went from main eventing WrestleMania 35 to a no comment downgrade on one of the biggest shows in WWE history. Are you kidding me? I love you, Hunter, but you got to do better. That's fucking horrible.
Not only is it horrible, but it's disgusting that it was, you hype this match up, you advertise it, and then you pull a bait and switch. Like, that's unacceptable. Another thing that was unacceptable, and I mentioned it earlier, was canceling Becky Lynch's return for The Undertaker. I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but The Undertaker's return kind of stole away from Rhea Ripley, winning the championship just a little bit. I don't know what they were doing here. And I will disagree with you on one thing. Toni Storm is the best woman in professional wrestling right now, not Rhea Ripley. Close, but Toni Storm is number one.
Oh, I gotta disagree with the professor on that one.
What? Are you out of your mind? The character work with Toni Storm from last year and up to now, because I love what they're doing with Toni Storm. It's way better than Rhea Ripley. Say what you want about Tony Khan's booking, but I love what they're doing with Rhea Ripley. Toni Storm's matches are really underrated, too. They really are underrated.
I love what they're doing with Toni Storm, but I think the best female wrestler on the planet right now is in Ring of Honor. I think Athena's the best.
Oh yeah, she's up there. She's either number 3 or number 2 for me. I have to argue Rhea Ripley, in my opinion, but Athena. Go watch. The only reason why I watch Ring of Honor sometimes is for Athena. She's that good.
Wow.
A lot of discussion. BG, what do you got?
Well, like I said, for one, I agree with you, Shake, Bake, and Nicholas that I love The Undertaker, but that was kind of fucked up. I was predicting, being that I've been hearing a bunch of Becky Lynch stuff coming in, that she was returning, and they should have had the last woman standing match, and then that way, I was picturing Liv Morgan, look like she about to win the match, with all of a sudden Becky Lynch song popped up and have that pop. And that's what she go after Liv and all that, and everything like that, and help. Well, I say help, and then that's where Rhea Ripley win the match like that due to interference in Becky Lynch. Then that's what I have Becky Lynch probably what goes to Rhea, which I think was going to happen at Mania for what I read earlier, and then that's when she want like a rematch for the title at Mania, but that was messed up. Overall, do I like the match? Yeah. But this shouldn't change the shit up. And Nicholas, I would say I disagree. Tony, I like what Toni Storm doing, but WWE Women's Division as a whole, they ain't. I got who's the best woman so far? Roxanne Perez, the Woman of the Year. I think she got Toni Storm beat.
Ooh, I don't know about that one. I love Roxanne, but Toni Storm carried that AEW women's division, especially with her timeless Marilyn Monroe style gimmick. It was perfect.
Perfect.
That's. I mean, I don't hate it, but Toni Storm to me is number one.
Toni Storm.
Could I ask a question about this match? Is that hopefully the end of Livdom? Is Livdom over?
Yeah, that's done.
Yeah,
that's
she's
done.
That's done. That's over. She's moving on.
Thank God. Dom over.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna
kick him in the McNuggets. Think that's dead. Think that's dead in the water. But I mean, that better be the end of that.
Yeah, and I mean, once the Judgment Day break up and they're hopefully feud with the Wyatt Six, Dominic leaves and just separates himself away from a woman who harassed him for the past 5 months, McNuggets. Yeah, JC, I thought about that too. I'll tell you someone who didn't have a good Monday. Let me tell you something, brother. Come buy my American beer brand. The booze come free of charge, baby.
Hulk Hogan was almost not allowed to speak by the WWE universe, and that was bad. Not that I'm shocked, because it's Hulk Hogan, and I'm sure WWE thought people wouldn't care about everything he's done. Oh, it's Hulk Hogan. But people cared. People are over Hulk Hogan. It's kind of cool to see that happen. He's just been a horrible guy for a long time, and it's fine. People are finally over it. And for him to show up at one of the biggest wrestling events of all time and hardly be able to speak, and I think that initial pop he got was kind of shock, and people were happy to see Jimmy Hart. But the minute Hogan started talking, the boo birds came ringing.
And his whole appearance was for his terrible beer brand, which is, oh, by the way, gotten in controversy as well when I think like they got fined for someone throwing a beer can at one of their events that injured somebody. Oops. And let me just say one thing. The only one I feel bad for was Jimmy Hart, because he was forced to be out there waving the flag around while Hulk was giving an advertisement for his beer. By the way, this is the same man who once claimed that he quit beer and would never, ever touch alcohol ever again. Wonder why that changed.
Probably because his wife left him, his kids hate him. That probably has something to do with it.
Which one? He's been married twice.
Fair enough. Gentlemen, either of you have anything on this?
I said, man, they just booed him out the damn stadium, and they talk about turning Hulk Hogan heel. You need to turn Hulk Hogan to the door and tell him to come back to WWE. Your time is over. I'm over this guy, man. I mean, I'm over him. I'm over what he got to say, what he's doing. You know, I'm just over this guy. I ain't got much to say. Let's move on to the next thing. Yeah, well, King Will, what you got?
I mean, we have to give him credit for what he did back in the 80s and 90s and keeping the business alive before Monday Night Raw era, but I don't give a damn what Hulk Hogan has to say or thinks about anything.
Oh, my God. I got to shout you out. Stack, that is so true. He's going to be on the next Saturday night's main event.
And it will get worse for him.
Yeah, because Jesse Ventura's on the show, and we know Jesse Ventura hates Hulk Hogan. You better keep
what if Jesse attacks Hulk Hogan unscripted and just beats the hell out of him? Oh man, I think I'd roll on the floor crying laughing.
Dude, I would love that. And let's be real, Hulk deserves it, especially for ratting him out when Jesse wanted a union.
The timeline is healing, gentlemen. Listen, we're a little bit up against it. We'll go a little over. That's fine because we still got 2 more matches to get through. Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre. Little bit of an unexpected outcome. But after I saw Jey Uso come out with Travis Scott and Travis had the big old doink in his hand, I was like, yeah, this man's not losing. There ain't no way. And I said that. I like he was walking out. I was like, no way Jey loses this, right? And like he didn't.
Yeah, and apparently WWE didn't know Travis Scott was gonna Travis Scott or I don't know Travis Scott. Or
Travis Scott, just call him Travis Scott.
Yeah, Jaquez Webster as his name is, but they didn't know that he was gonna walk out with a blunt in his hand.
Of course not.
They didn't know that, but
of course not.
I mean, it's Travis Scott,
yeah,
and of course. Even though I have no idea what he sings and what his lyrics are to his songs. I can pretty much tell he's a big star. And if they have plans for him at WrestleMania, which there's been rumors about, I think one of his songs will be used at WrestleMania. That's my prediction.
Probably.
So
we don't get the Weeknd for the 8th year in a row?
Who's the Weeknd?
I don't know his name, dog.
Saturday or Sunday, dude. Just make a pick.
He has been the WrestleMania theme song since like WrestleMania 36.
Oh, really?
Has been one of his songs, yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane, and it's really annoying. I like The Weeknd. He sounds great, but it's just like switch it up, you know? But yeah, kind of a fun match.
I know who that is. I saw a photo of him. I got it on my phone here. Okay, now I know who he is.
Not too much really going on with that. It was just a match that they threw in. Again, they didn't need it. You could have had last woman standing, but you needed Travis Scott, whatever. Anyway, main event, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. CM Punk captures the first dub. It was a pretty clean victory. The referee let the boys go at it for sure. He let them wrestle. But yeah, CM Punk got a pretty clean victory. And I think, Seth Rollins starts to unravel and really goes loose on Monday. But I mean, at the same time, that was a clean victory.
Yeah. Could that be Seth Rollins' downfall though? Is that when he puts in like so much emotions into someone, especially CM Punk, it's like he could I guess lose focus and have him lose the match, because that's what happened to Drew McIntyre, where he has this hatred for CM Punk to where he fuck around and he lost the match due to CM Punk outsmarted him and all. It's like, could that be the downfall of Seth Rollins? First of all, phenomenal match. That's a phenomenal match. They both went to war. But obviously this feud ain't over. I give it to like Lisa, maybe Elimination Chamber or WrestleMania. But I keep questioning myself. Is that the Seth Rollins hatred for this man is the downfall of him losing that match?
No, because I think they're going to have more than one match. I'm stunned that he took the pin. I thought it was going to be a disqualification, but it still was a fun match.
It was
especially
great.
when Punk did the GTS and then Rollins was like collapsed on his back. That's a move that happened when Punk faced Jon Moxley or Dean Ambrose in AEW. It was sort of similar to that match a little, but they used it here. But I thought this was done very well.
I thought it was a great match. I'm a little surprised Punk won, but I'm also going to make a long-term prediction. So when it happens in a few months, you heard it here first. McIntyre, Rollins, and Owens will end up being a faction.
Ooh. I actually like it. Imagine if that becomes a Survivor Series matchup, if they can stretch it out to that long.
No, they can. And if they want to, they will. Hey, that's a great spot to just wrap it up. It was a really great show. It seems like Seth Rollins and CM Punk are definitely going to continue, but we'll have to find out. Next show, we'll be able to talk about it more. Monday Night Raw will pop up in between, as well as Friday Night SmackDown. Don't forget to follow Stadium Rant and all the boys on social media. Be friendly. And if you're listening on the podcast, don't forget to hit that follow button. A lot of you guys just don't even think about it. Support the show. Drop a follow. Drop a rating. Share with a friend. Whatever you got to do. Check out Stadium Rant for more articles on your favorite teams, players, and leagues. As always, if you're not down with that, we got just 2 words for you. Acknowledge us.